Hello everyone, welcome back to Cloud Pedagogy. In today's exercise, we will walk through on creating an S3 bucket and then modifying the EC2 instance holding the student directory application to utilize this S3 bucket. So let's go through the task first. In the first task, we will create S3 bucket and upload the objects. In the second task, we will apply the bucket policies for this bucket. In task 3, we will launch an EC2 instance to use the bucket policy which is created in task 2. In the task 4, we will check the images in S3 bucket which was uploaded by the student directory application. Finally, in the task 5, we will clear the resources which are created in this lab. Let's start with the task 1. Create S3 bucket and upload the objects. As you can see, I am already in the AWS console management page. The first thing that I need to do is to create the S3 bucket that will be utilized by the SDA application, which is student directory application. To do that, I'm going to go up to the search bar here and type in S3 and then click on S3 service to be taken to the S3 console page. Now that I am in S3 console page, I'm going to go ahead and click create bucket. And for my bucket name, I'm going to use student directory photo bucket 123, which is DNS compliant. It has sum of initials and then dash and then just 3 random digits so that it can be DNS compliant. I do want to make sure that my bucket is in the same region as the rest of my infrastructure. So I'm going to keep this as the North Virginia region and then I'm going to keep all of the other defaults as they are. From there, I'll go ahead and click create bucket. As you can see here, my bucket has been successfully created. Now that the bucket has been successfully created, I want to test uploading an object just to make sure that it all works fine. So I'll click on the name of the bucket, which will take me to the bucket details page. And to upload a file, I can click this upload that's in the center of the page here, but more often I'm going to use the one in the upper right. So I'll click the upload button and then I'll click add files. And I'll go ahead and upload this student1.jpeg photo. After I add that file, I can click upload. And as you can see here, the upload of the file was successful. So I'll go ahead and click close there. Congratulations, you have created the bucket successfully and uploaded the objects as well. Now in the task 2, we will apply the bucket policies. In the previous lab, you might have seen a way to make this object publicly accessible. But for this bucket, for this exercise moving on, we don't want this bucket to be just completely open to the world. We want this bucket and these objects to specifically be accessed by the application. And so in order to do that, we need to adjust the permissions for this bucket, specifically the bucket policy. So since I'm already in the bucket details page, I'm going to go ahead and click on this permissions tab. And I want to adjust the bucket policy for this bucket. So I'm going to scroll down to the bucket policy and click the edit button, which will take me to a spot where I can create a bucket policy. But before I move forward, before I save this policy, I need to edit a few things. The first thing that I need to edit is the account number so that I'm utilizing the correct account which is holding the student S3 DynamoDB role access. To do so, I will go to IAM page and copy the ARN of that role. And that will be done here where it says insert IAM role ARN. And I will paste the copied ARN there. And then from there, I will also scroll down and change this area where it says bucket ARN and put my bucket ARN there by copying that from the same page on the above section. So now that I have done that, I can go ahead and save the changes and my bucket policy will be created. And now my account with this specific role will have access to this bucket and the objects within this bucket as well. Congratulations, you have applied the bucket policy for your student directory application. In the task 3, we will launch EC2 instance to use S3 bucket policy. So now that I have tested uploading an object and created the bucket, as well as providing access to the bucket by that role, I need to modify the application to utilize this bucket. So to do that, I'm going to go over to the EC2 instance page and click on instances. And as you can see, my stopped instance from previous exercise is there. And there is a cool little shortcut that I can be used in order to clone this instance so that I'm launching basically the exact same thing and making sure that I maintain those settings. To do that, what I will do is I will select the stopped instance and then I will go over to actions and down to image and templates. And then I can click launch more like this. What that's going to do is open up my instance launching page, but already have certain things filled out so that my instance is going to be clone of the stopped instance that I have already launched. So I want to do is make sure that I know that is my updated application instance. To do that, I'm going to append -s3 to the end of instance name. So it will be student app server -s3 and my image and instance type are going to remain the same. What I can do is just make sure that I'm going to use the same key pair that I'm using with my other instances. And then I want to scroll down and make sure that this is going to be accessible. So I want to change my auto assign public IP to enable, and that's just going to make sure that I have a public IP address to access for this instance. From there, I'm going to continue to scroll down as if all other settings are still correct, and then I'm going to expand advanced details. With the expanded advanced details, I can see that the role is already associated to this instance which was created in the IAM lab. If you don't see the role, please complete the lab, implement IAM in student directory application first. Next, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the user data, and what I want to do is put my bucket name in here so that now my application knows what bucket to utilize. And so with my bucket name there, I can now launch my instance. And that will just take a little bit of time. So I will go over to my instances and I will wait for that to be launched, just occasionally refreshing it to make sure that everything launches correctly. And I want to wait until the status check is showing 2 of 2 checks passed. So now that I have given it to some time, I'm going to go ahead and click refresh again. And as you can see, there are 2 of 2 checks passed. So I just wanna make sure that this application is up and running. I will select this instance and copy its public IP address, and then in a new tab, I will go ahead and paste that IP address. As you can see, the application is up and running. We still can't fully interact with this application yet because the database hasn't been associated with the application. Congratulations, you have successfully launched an application for this bucket. In the task 4, we will check S3 bucket for image uploads. As you can see, the application is up and running and we will be able to interact with it just with the image uploads. Let's insert an object which is an image and see whether the image alone can be uploaded or not. As we have already mentioned, by default all Amazon S3 objects are private. Only the object owner has permission to access them. However, the object owner may share objects with others by creating a pre-signed URL. You can use the Amazon S3 console to generate a pre-signed URL for sharing an object. When using the console, the maximum expiration time for a pre-signed URL is 12 hours from the time of creation. So in the objects list, select the object that you want to create a pre-signed URL for. On the object action menu, choose shared with pre-signed URL. You can specify how long you want the pre-signed URL to be valid. Choose create pre-signed URL. When a confirmation appears, the URL is automatically copied to your clipboard. You will see a button to copy the pre-signed URL if you need to copy it again. Copy the normal URL of S3 bucket object and paste in the new browser. I'm sorry, the object is access denied. Now copy this pre-signed URL in a new browser and you can see the image uploaded by the SDA. Congratulations, you have successfully verified the images that are uploaded by the student directory application. In the last task, we will clear all the resources which are created in this lab. Now we have done all our objectives already in the lab. I just wanted to do a couple of the closeout tasks for this. And so just to make sure that if you are following along or if you are already done this, that you go ahead and stop this instance as well as delete the object that was uploaded to the S3 bucket. And that will just make sure that you don't accidentally occur any charges outside of running this lab. So first I'll go ahead and stop the instance. To stop the instance, choose the instance name and then choose instance date and click stop instance. Confirm the stop. The instance state will eventually go into the stopped state. Next, we'll try to see the deletion of objects inside the bucket and then finally delete the bucket. You can delete the objects in different ways. In the console management, I'll show you in two different ways you can delete the objects before deleting the bucket. So you can delete by single object or you can empty the whole bucket at once. First, I'll show you how to delete the single object. Select the object in the bucket and click delete. In the second method, you can delete all of the object in the bucket without deleting the bucket. To do so, in the bucket name list, select the option next to the name of the bucket that you want to empty and then choose empty. On the empty bucket page, confirm that you want to empty the bucket by entering the bucket name into the text field and then choose empty. Now that I have deleted all the objects in the bucket, it's time to delete the bucket itself. Select the bucket name and then click delete button. Congratulations! You have completed the lab by launching Student Directory application EC2 instance that uses the S3 bucket you have created. I knew you were all catching on and I knew you were all learning. Hope to be back soon. Until then, take care.